wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Solitos tuo, usum ungularum, delectatque contremescit me. Intro.
Test. Why does this look different?
Welcome back, Elmers. It's your favorite horror podcast with your favorite boys, like Hell, Bill, and Rob. Say hi.
What's up, gang?
What's up, everybody?
We love you, Elmers. We miss you. We're back.
Love you.
It feels like it's been an eternity on Mars, but somehow
I think time's like longer here or something,
I
right?
think the gravity
It felt longer.
changes space-time, and it definitely has been longer.
Well, no, check this out.
You've got a beard.
1,000. That's, I don't know, it took me the same amount of time, I guess.
Yeah.
What year is it here? I
What
can't
year
tell.
is
Where
it?
are we? What year is it?
Well, we're still in the stratosphere right now, so we'll probably touch down soon. I don't know. Touchdown.
They don't play football on Mars.
They don't, but we're in the stratosphere of Earth. We're landing.
Where?
Where are we going?
I don't really know. It looks like maybe the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, I know that we talked about Australia or New Zealand or something.
We're
but
gonna
like,
shoot for that. I don't know.
you don't know, like, do we have like a...
It's
Is
on
there
autopilot.
navigation?
There's not like an X marks the spot.
Switched it over to Esperanto earlier, and I can't get it back to English.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Dude, can you the next time we go on an intergalactic fucking mission, can we get more than one fucking Tom Jones album with the It's not unusual to be loved
it's also
by anyone.
wild that the spaceship has a vinyl player. Like, that's just crazy.
You brought it.
They fucking shut down NASA.
NASA.
Like
Elon Musk. God, that guy. Can't get
Elon
it.
West.
Elon West.
He said some stupid shit on Twitter, didn't he?
Elongated. Yeah. Topical. This film, though, Tremors? Do you remember it?
Tremors, 1990.
It's,
Well,
we
that was
watched it, like,
smart
last
because we're gonna
week.
land.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like I
It's
get it.
gonna, like,
Yeah,
cause, like...
we might
we're-
cause one.
might
yeah,
be
we're
an
gonna cause
aftershock.
Tremors.
We
Oh, and there was 3 in the movie. Let's talk about it. We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. This film came out in 1990.
So did I.
And so did I. Well, actually, I didn't. I came out years later, but one can hope. Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, Reba McEntire,
Oh,
yeah.
Gross, and also Tony Gennaro and Victor Wong,
Oh yeah, Victor Wong. He's
You know?
like the general store
the general
runner,
store
right?
owner,
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Chang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Walter Chang.
Yeah, Walter's
and he's
general
you know, it was
convenience
Mr.
store.
Miyagi
Uh-huh.
from the
Yeah.
Karate Kid movies. He's also in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
He's great character actor.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
fantastic.
huge in this time, dude. Honestly.
Yeah. Oh, massive.
This was
massive.
it's kind of a star-studded cast, honestly.
And Michael Gross really steals this film. He's like kind of the protagonist in the sequels and
Mhm.
trequels and
Reba's husband.
yeah, all of those. And Reba's just hot and great, and
She's awesome.
She's awesome in this. And Kevin's good. Kevin's good. He's cute. He's young. He's baby faced. How hot is that upturned nose, Bill? Do you want to fuck his little face?
I'll fuck any Kevin Bacon.
Any Kevin Bacon.
Kosher, non-kosher.
Even if
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like Kevin Irish bacon, it's like not like belly, it's
It's
like
not
the
really-
back.
it's the
Cottage bacon.
Cottage bacon. Would you cottage Kevin Bacon?
I think I
would.
would, yeah. He is
he's
really
handsome. He's pretty handsome in this film.
in this, and he plays his part well.
A
which is,
blue
like,
collar
dumb,
type of-
horny.
Yeah. His accent is okay. It goes and comes sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not here for that.
It's just fun.
Fred Ward is
It didn't bother me.
really
No.
good also, actually.
Oh, Fred Ward's great in this. And
Yeah, he's great. And
Yeah.
he's sexy as well.
Fuck.
More chiseled.
Honestly,
not more chiseled.
give
but-
me Earl over Val.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's hot.
Earl's a
He's
guy,
hot.
like a
He's
man's
hot.
man.
He's
Like,
sexy.
I don't know.
The sexy cast, too.
It is a sexy cast.
It's good. Good cast all around. Strong.
1990, great creature feature.
I know you love a good creature
I
feature.
do.
We all do.
And
In fact, actually, when it's done well, it's one of our favorites. I think.
Such good
yeah.
special effects in this. Honestly,
For the time?
for what it
Oh,
is, yeah.
A lot of bad horror movies coming out during this time.
A lot of
And I
the
mean, this is a horror comedy, but you know
Sure.
what I mean. Lots of bad effects around this time,
yeah,
and this doesn't fall victim to that.
not a ton of like gore. I mean, there's like monster gore,
No.
but and there's blood and there's death. So there's
And
like
mostly
kill count.
in the daylight. You know,
Yeah.
it's not a lot of I would say jump scares, but you kind of know it's coming because it's the tremor under the ground before
Yeah.
it comes to get you.
which is a fucking awesome effect. And I think they created that. They had to invent that for the film.
Yeah.
The ground moving.
The ground moving, yeah,
Yeah.
both the dirt and also like all the like wooden slat porches and stuff all
That
over
was a
the
lot of
dust
fun.
town. Like, it's a cool aesthetic. And because Bill, that's kind of your like wheelhouse, like old,
Oh, like setting
the
wise.
destitute
abandoned,
setting.
rusty farm equipment.
I mean, yeah, I liked it. I usually like that because it's usually presented in a much more gross, like animals have been butchered here kind of way, and it's
More of like an
definitely
abandoned.
presented more clean and like this is just like a really small town. But yeah, I do like this setting, middle of nowhere. I don't even know where
Nevada.
where are they supposed to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nevada. But yeah, I did enjoy this setting. Any old buildings and just a bunch of dirt. I'm gonna like it. But
We've all seen these towns, though, right? I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
if you guys as much
Oh,
exposure,
yeah.
but like in South Dakota, especially like when you get to the rural parts of like when you're in the really rural areas, not even just like people don't live here anymore, but it's just like that town there's like 27 to 47 people that live in this area,
Uh-huh.
and there is a gas station, post office, general store, restaurant, depending on
Maybe a
if Johnny's
church.
awake and
Yeah.
decided to work today, type of place. And it's
Yeah.
one building
and a bar.
in a bar, yeah, and like I don't know, it kind of takes place in one of those towns, and the guys kind of fit that role, and all the trucks are beat up, and everybody knows how to like fix their trailer, and there's lots of like
Perfection.
astroturf lawns and stuff, and flamingos,
Yeah.
pink flamingos. I don't know, you know what I mean?
And they're excited for outsiders, especially when it's a woman. Like we meet this young scientist who's out there studying shit, and they're driving and they're like, oh, like new student, like last one graduated. This one's supposed to be a girl.
Yeah,
and
Kevin, like,
they
races over.
race towards it, and
He's got a laundry list of what he's
excited
excited
for
for.
because there's
Blonde,
blonde,
beautiful
Perfect
dress, legs that go all the way
All
up.
the
An
way
ass that
up.
don't quit.
Ass that don't quit.
Yeah.
He's just going full horn dog, and like you got Fred Ward sitting there, Earl. Yeah, Earl's like, come on, I don't
He's
their
like
dynamic is like
he's like almost
fun.
like a father figure, older
Yeah,
brother,
older brother, uncle,
like
kind
a
of.
mixture of all three, kind of.
Definitely uncle-y, kind of.
But he's a slacker too, kind of. He's like
Yeah.
he's sleeping in the back of the pickup bed in the opening credits of the movie.
Stampede!
Yeah, and they got a cute, fun relationship.
Yeah.
They're obviously
Suck
Care
dicks.
for each other.
there's like some Bert and Ernie implications with these two. Are there not?
Yeah.
You think they're fucking?
No.
No, but I think that there's some
But
implications.
I want to.
Yeah, you like to
Because
think
they're both
so.
cute. But no, they're both like kind of a little scoundrelly without being like scumbaggy. You know,
And they're both kind of
Roused
griftery
about.
without being like.
what do they say? They're like, we're handymen. And what does Kevin Bacon call them? And then he's like, no, we're handymen. We're handymen.
I can't remember what
remember
they're on the
exactly,
truck ride into
yeah,
town.
the truck right in town.
Yeah, I can't recall.
But they get to Perfection, Nevada, population 14, and
Yep.
and everybody knows everybody because these
There's
are
14
Just
people.
14.
this is population 14, and like even without that said, it's like these are people that would have lived on the outskirts of Reno, but that was too populous and connected, and they needed to be on their own.
Right, and they kind of like paint some of that backdrop too with the couple that's out there looking at it. They're like, hey,
Yep.
look at these stars. That's going to be our stars every night above it. And you kind of get the sense that like a lot of these people, it's a community of older like couples mostly. And
There's like a
there's
single mom that like is ceramic
yeah,
artist
with like
and
one
stuff. Yeah,
kid,
one
because you
kid,
got to
yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
But
Pogo
then,
stick.
yeah, and then it's like some bachelor men and whatever else.
kid-
But
and
it's
then
people,
general store.
people who chose to go out there for the most part. And I don't know. You kind of get the sense Earl and Valentine are over it. And they're not in the middle of nowhere, but they are in the middle of nowhere. But they talk about like Bixby's nearby,
miles.
like they're going to drive to the city, and that might only be a few hundred or a couple thousand, but we've all been in the middle of the desert, nowhere, fucking America, or maybe we haven't, but mountains, swamps, whatever. It's all the same but different.
Yeah, they talk about getting away, but
I mean, this film has a lot to do with, I mean, a lot of similarities with like Jaws. Like it's instead of sand, instead of water, it's sand kind of thing.
Music is good. It
Music
plays
is
a big
wild,
part
right?
on this, actually, right?
Very like heroic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were saying it has like a weird like maybe not Disney, but like some sort of like a WB animated like family cartoon type of
Western.
Yeah, like a like a Steven Spielberg, like a
like a
ambient
grand score, like orchestral.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not just twangy banjo.
No.
It is,
Five-O Goes West type of.
yeah,
You know what I
Five-O
mean?
Goes West is a better, and that's not.
Yeah, those ambient
Yeah.
like movies or whatever. Amblin, not ambient.
Ambient movies, what does that mean?
The movies that you eat ambient and try to stay with.
I love this. I love a good ambient movie.
Mom's boyfriend would come over and feed me Ambien. We'd watch Five-O Goes West.
Yeah, and then he'd go south, finish the story.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you were asleep.
Don't remember.
Back to the movie.
This film, yeah, they get back to town and they're like, we're out. We're finally gonna leave. And then they pack up and everyone's like, oh, sure you are. And then they see that the truck is full and they're like, oh, you are. And they even get offered to get paid in advance a month's work to build a
Some
new
lunch.
kiln and free beer. And they say no to free beer.
Can you believe it?
Can you believe we said no to free
God
beer?
damn,
Right
praise the
there.
Lord.
We're gonna get to Bixby.
I love that. He says, like, God damn, praise the Lord. We said no to free beer. We're going to do it. We're getting out of here.
I wish I'd written down more of Kevin Bacon's exclamation because they're pretty
good. Yeah.
They're a fun couple, though,
Some
too.
good
They have
ones.
great
They're
dynamic,
good.
honestly.
Good dynamic,
They do.
Al and Val, or
Hold on.
Earl and Val.
Let me jump in real quick and say,
shoot.
this is something we talked about before we went on the pod. But let's paint the backdrop for some of the Elmers who are our age. They'll get this. This movie was on all the fucking time when we were
Cable.
growing up, right? Cable. What it had to be like TNT or TBS. Who owns this
yeah,
movie? Is
TBS.
this Time Warner owns this? I would assume because it was on all the time.
Yeah.
I'd probably seen this a dozen times on television. The cable
Often
television.
a marathon of 1 through 4. Or
A
whatever,
lot of times,
you know?
yeah. I've seen at least the first three on TV multiple times, but this one the most because you always start something and
Yep.
so because of that, I would say that this is also pretty nostalgic for me. It's one of those really approachable, fun, like kind of family horror movies, and I would say I rewatched like Gremlins the other night, and like Gremlins is like darker and more fucked up than Tremors. Like but that depends on your family, and it depends on it depends on the conversations you have with your kids, I guess, or whatever. We're not getting into all that, but like this movie, for me, when it would come on TV, my mom would be like, "Oh yeah, Kevin Bacon, Tremors," and like it was met with enthusiasm. It was something I could watch while she made dinner, and she wouldn't be upset about or whatever. And
Yeah, I mean, it could almost be like, is it PG-13?
It is PG-13. It is,
Is it?
1990.
yeah,
And they do have one or two.
Kevin
I think
says
there's one
fuck.
F-bomb, and you can have
you can have one F-bomb
You can have
even
one,
today. I
yeah.
still think. Yeah,
But and I agree with everything you just said, Michael. But I also think that is, you could not say that unless you're an American,
oh right, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because the amount of guns,
yeah,
not
and I was
even
gonna
just
say,
like it's gun violence, but the amount of guns in
there's
this
so
film
many
and how
guns in this
normalized
movie.
it is wild.
yes.
It's almost like a Western. It's not even a Western. It's more than that. It's way more than Tombstone. It's crazy.
Great, but I would also say that Hollywood is the biggest market for
Sure.
film, and like
Sure.
a lot of the world's understanding in like action movies and stuff is based off of like the Western lens. And even in a lot of other cultures, it's still going to be what's going on in your household. How did the conversations
Sure.
happen and whatnot? So I don't
Did you
know.
use
if-
them? Were you trained around them growing up and all that?
or just the movie. I mean,
Yeah.
also watching movies, and so like for me, I got to watch this, and it was I know it pretty well. I love this movie. It's got a lot of really fun moments and things that I watch now as an adult, and I'm like, didn't get those jokes. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think that that's really cool. I'm going to talk about this movie and wax poetic about it because I do kind of think this is a family horror movie, but by no means let me raise your fucking kids because I said that. Don't sit down with your family and watch it on that, my word, and like check it out first for sure. But
Yeah. I mean, if you haven't listened to enough of our podcast yet, definitely don't let any of us raise your kids.
right, yeah.
Good at it.
Because we're just going to kill them
Yeah.
in movies.
And you
Get an
know what
Oscar.
their first word's going to be.
Come.
Yes. And honestly,
It should be.
Going back to this being like a family movie, like I do agree with all that. And that being said, like the first 2 deaths in this movie are actually pretty dark.
Yeah, and there is blood, and like, I mean,
Yeah.
not a ton, but yeah.
But like the first death is like this old guy that's on top of a light post or whatever.
He's a town drunk.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they found out that he died of thirst.
Like
Because of
exposure.
dehydration. Yeah,
So,
because
like-
he was on a power line structure. Essentially, he climbed up
there.
one.
Yeah, the first death we get is like this old guy that he held himself up in the air to die of thirst, and we don't know why at this point.
I think we've seen a couple like ground shakes, maybe.
And the
but
movie's
that's it.
called
Tremors.
Tremors.
But we haven't seen any attacks or snakes.
Yeah, and even the second one is like that
The
older couple, where
The
like
generator.
they're like holding hands and having like a nice, cute moment, and then he's just like quickly sucked into the ground. And their acting here is great, and like I felt for them. Like this was like kind of sad.
A
Yeah,
lot of the acting is good in this.
Like she's like does a really good job at acting like she is doing absolutely everything she can to save
just feeding him like the
her
2x4s
husband,
and
giving
everything.
and
Yeah,
they're
like
just snapping and stuff, and he's doing a great job. His
she runs into
screams
the
are
car
great,
and like she's like panting around and realizing that she doesn't have the key. Like just like a whole oh shit
Yeah.
moment, and you believe it.
it's a great scene.
I'm glad
It's a
that you
really
brought that up
good
because I was
scene.
going to forget. When I saw this movie, it was clear to me sometimes when I was watching it that they were taking inspirations from some of the other popular horror movies that were coming out that previous decade. And this whole like scrambling into the station wagon and being isolated in a locked car that you can't drive away from, and the hot heat with the like something attacking the outside windows was very much
Texas
Cujo,
Chainsaw. Oh,
right?
yeah, Cujo too.
Yeah, Dee Wallace.
In
She's
a lot
locked
of
in the
movies.
fucking car, and she's like got her son, and the dog is
Yeah,
in there
getting
because
attacked
like
by
all the
the dog.
slobber on the windows, like all that type of thing. I was like, oh my god, this is totally like a little Cujo moment. But I'm also SK nerd
Yeah, the little worms things coming out and
The
fucking
snakes.
just
'Cause we don't even
smacking
know
into
yet.
the car.
because we don't even
You
know.
think it's just the snakes? Yeah.
This is good, but it's when you say both
It's a
these kills
good-
are dark, they are dark, but like. The guy up on the tower, you don't see him very
Yeah, you don't
intimately,
see-
and then you do see his face, and it's not that bad. And then when you see them get pulled under, it's like you don't get to see too much. And then when like
Yeah, it's more so just like thinking
Quicksand.
about it. Yeah, like damn,
Yeah.
that guy spent his final 3 days in fear, hiding, and like that. And then,
it is dark in that sense.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's not like violent.
Yeah.
No.
I like when Kevin Bacon pulls the hat up and the face of the man who's like been sucked down into the sand. He's there.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's kind of brutal too. And it's all of this is mostly really well lit, which is another reason why I don't think it
mostly
feels so scary. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like I feel like when it's on TV, it doesn't look as scary.
scary.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I feel like that car sucking kill was
That's
like
in the dark though
Yes.
too.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the only scene shot at night though. Like,
And that's
I'm
got
trying
a
to
cool
think
effect
of
with
another.
the headlights that are pointed up in the sky when they get
That's a
sucked
lot
in.
of fun when they
Yeah.
they dig that up and they're like, what is this? And it's a car facing up, completely underground, and they're uncovering the headlights that are on.
Oh yeah.
Did you and
That's fun.
Did Miss Bill watch this with you?
No, she did not. The timing didn't work. out.
I think
I
Miss Bill
forgot
would dig
about
it.
it. I think she would too.
But yeah, this movie is so much fun, and the kills are good, and the effects are good. And up at this point, we've seen a couple of kills and a couple of these like snake creatures that are coming out of the ground, and that's kind of what you think the monster is going to be.
They're like huge, fleshy
W-
eel
teeth
worms
type things.
They're about like
Ye-
anaconda, reticulated python size,
They're big.
15
They're
to 20 feet.
They're thick, girthy boys
Pretty
too,
thick,
and they have
yeah.
like kind of I don't know, like almost like not plumage, but like little like phalanges that kind of make them look like vipers or something.
Yeah, there's something in the front that makes them not look like a snake.
Well, it makes it look like it's a head, right? Like it's
Right.
not like
Yeah.
just a tongue or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they are, I don't know, they're about as thick around as a football, maybe a little bit thicker, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
They're big. They're fucking scary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, yeah.
You would be
Huge.
terrified, right?
Yeah, I mean, huge snake-like creatures that can sense your vibrations and hunt you from underground. It's scary.
It's scary as fuck. Nice. Yeah, when we finally get the first shot of one of them, like the breaching, I guess, kind of.
Oh, like coming out.
Yeah, I don't know exactly when that.
The full
shows.
presentation. It's,
Full Monty.
It's the first people to see it are Kevin Bacon.
It's Earl and Val.
And Earl and Val, and they're
Well, because they've tried to leave town and the rocks
road
have
is
been
closed.
blown up, or
Yeah.
they think the rocks have been blown up by the construction crew. They go to investigate it.
those
They
are
see
two more kills. Yeah,
the
those were two
construction
more kills.
crew
Workers
is
on the other side are dead.
dead, and that's when they start to think like somebody's killing people around here, like something's not right, and they head back into town to try to like warn people, like we got to get out of here. And when they're doing that, they're leaving the construction scene, the highway like block, and
their
something's
truck.
grabbed their truck.
You're held up.
No, I'm not. I tell you, you gotta burn the clutch doing
Burn
that.
out the clutch.
That's a good way to drop an axle. Yeah, tell me about it.
And then they're dragging a snake behind them.
And they get to the general store, Walter's General Store. Is Walter?
Yeah, Walter.
Walter
Walter,
Chang,
yeah,
yeah.
Walter Chang. They get to Walter's General Store, and they start telling everybody, and lo and behold, Reba and
Bert and Heather.
Bert and Heather, they investigate and find a creature because they're like doomsday preppers.
Bert is like he's the patron saint of doomsday preppers. They've moved out there because it's surrounded by mountains and like it's like covered and it's like
Geographically
isolated, and that's why they built their bunker out there and have thousands of gallons of fresh water and like an air purifier and food for 20 years and
Satellite
Go into the
signals can't reach them.
goddamn rec room.
Yeah.
And a lot of guns.
And so it's like a video game. It's like the Matrix. It's like when they get guns out of the Matrix. It's wild.
It is insane. And like I would think that that's an iconic scene, like when we're kids, right? When they're
Sure.
on the roof and like trying to fight off the fucking
Yeah.
Graboids.
because you always think like how crazy this couple is, and like now it's like, so extremely American, like obviously.
Oh man, even back then there were people like that, but not everybody knew someone or like saw them on Facebook or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Right. There hadn't been
They
documentaries about
weren't
how
as
that was
public about it.
extremely
Right.
detrimental to our public safety.
But like honestly, man, if you want to buy property out in the middle of Nevada and build your bunker and stock it,
That's where you
like,
do it.
Then go do that. But it's the people that like think that whatever they can do it at their home, and it's like you're gonna eat bullets and silver. Like, good luck, dude. Good luck.
So they see the tongue snake fucking graboid thing.
And Walter buys it off of them for $15.
$15.
And starts charging people to take pictures with it immediately.
Yeah, that's a good bit.
That's a really good bit.
And they're just like, well, what is it? And then the seismologist...
They go out to warn her because they're gonna still get out of town.
Right.
They're
right.
getting
They
out of
still
town.
won't leave.
And they're going to tell the seismologist on the way out of town, hey, we might as well tell her there's that
Rhonda.
thing. You got to get in the town. You got to get out of there, Rhonda.
Help me, Rhonda, get out of town.
So they go to tell Rhonda, and it's at this time when the graboid, which is what they'll later be known as,
Right.
breaches, and they get freaked the fuck out,
like
and it runs
land
around,
shark.
and then they like jump the gap, right, and it hits the concrete wall,
They're getting...
and then she
Yeah.
comes from the other
The
side,
culvert.
And
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
it.
and
you guys
she's
see anything weird just now?
yeah.
The first one, that's right, kills itself by running into the barrier, chasing.
Yeah, the culvert,
chasing.
concrete,
like
the barricade.
And it's like oozing out and it stinks, and they're like, what the hell
Yeah, they
is it?
comment on the smell a lot. Like, these things must have been stank.
They smell worse alive than they do
I-
dead.
I'll also say, just to roll back real quick, when you first meet Rhonda, and they've already gone through his laundry list of like what kind of woman he wants.
Yeah.
She's got brown hair and has like zinc oxide on her nose. Like that's like how they make her look.
She's
like,
supposed
ugly.
to be a nerd.
Yeah, she has like
scientist.
a brimmed hat and zinc
Yeah.
oxide. It's like,
She's
oh,
very
oh,
pretty. She's
God.
really
It's
pretty,
like, no,
yeah.
she's like a
Very
very
pretty.
attractive woman.
They're like, yeah, how do we? Yeah, just fucking put a bunch
Make her a
of shit on her
nerd,
nose and
here's some
give her a hat.
Baggy shorts.
You know why she's ugly, right? Because she's smart.
Because she's
That's
smart.
Like
And,
honestly, that's
yeah.
that's
She has to
fucking
be,
so
yes.
horrible.
I also do like.
It's not
when
my
they-
opinion. I'm just saying that's
It's a
the
Hollywood-
presentation.
The
I like when
Hollywood.
the town asks her later, like, "Aren't you a scientist?" She's like a geologist doing seismology, and they're asking her about like biology and evolution. She's
Anything
like,
that has to do anything.
well, it
really.
predates the fossil record, so.
Yeah,
That's a fun bit too. Is that they're all like confused how she doesn't know everything.
Everything.
Like to her, she should know everything.
But yeah,
She's a scientist.
It crashes through the culvert, and then they start like investigating. It's like 30 feet long and has like has like 3 or 4 of those snake tentacles out of its beaked mouth.
Yeah, so it's
no
like an
eyes.
alien thing. It's like the xenomorph.
Yeah.
Like
It's an
mouth
yeah.
thing, right?
It's an Alaskan bullworm
It's
thing.
literally-
It's like
yeah.
SpongeBob goes in, thinks he fought the big worm,
Yeah.
and in reality, that's just the tongue.
Think
and
of,
it's like the same thing.
Like basically like one of those giant like maggots, and then
Mm.
it has like a 3-pronged like beak, kind of hard beak kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's 3 of those, and that's the tongue.
And that's the tongue,
And
and it can
that's-
sense vibrations like a mole or whatever.
And they go through the ground, and it's fucking
Yeah.
cool looking,
yeah,
dude.
It's really cool, and they're trapped.
Yeah, they're blind, obviously.
I think there's a-
Subterranean.
I think there's a thing about like how there was a gas like bubble breaking that was like leaking off methane, and that's how they that's how this movie is supposed to tell you how they like got out after being trapped in this valley that's surrounded by mountains and bedrock, and so
Yeah.
they can't get like anywhere else because like how do we never know these people or these creatures were here kind of thing, and they're also huge. So what are they eating? It's not really that important, but if they're 30 feet long, like they eat humans. I don't know. But they crash
Station wagons.
through- and station wagons, and she's like, "This is amazing! This is like the biggest find ever in like the history." In the,
Yeah,
the
she's like, this is a
century.
new creature.
A new, like a massive,
new important-
massive new creature. Yeah, and they start like planning how to get rich and like,
Immediately.
We need a flatbed truck.
No, a crane. No, a winch.
No, we don't want to put
Well,
that
you
type
know,
of stress
Wangs
on
ain't, or
it.
Chang's ain't buying this one for $15. I'll tell you what.
Which is great because at this time, literally like a quarter of the town, which is the people they've known their whole lives, are dead.
Are
And they're
dead,
immediately
eaten.
like, we're going to be rich.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. I mean, it's a horror
It's
comedy.
really funny, and it's all happened within the like from morning to now noon.
We're
so
probably the
it's going
first
by
30
quick.
minutes in the movie.
This
This
movie
is all in the
not-
first third,
this
first
movie's
quarter.
not long and it doesn't make
No.
you wait, which is good. It pretty much gets into it right away.
And
It's
then-
honestly perfect for being on cable TV for that, like
Dude,
those
for
young kids,
real.
because it doesn't have like nudity or scenes that gotta get cut out. It doesn't have a lot of gore. Like the gore that I see in this movie, you can put on TV
Yep.
with like a disclaimer, and the language isn't horrible. Like it's really not.
It's also very like almost I'm not episodic, but there's like 4 parts in the mid to end film where they're like getting attacked. So you can break that up with commercial breaks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get back
Yeah.
there, they're safe
still
again.
on the
They're
roofs.
gathering they're gathering all their guns and ammo, and then they're getting attacked by another one.
It's like it was almost made to be played on TV.
Yes. But it is great, and there's some really, not just like the practical effects with the monster design, which is really cool
Mm-hmm.
and really well done and looks good, but all of the stuff with the shaking houses and the cars and
Collapsing roofs
collapses,
and like like you
and
said, the slats on the porches and stuff.
like all that's looks really good in my opinion. Like I don't know, I love this movie. It has huge nostalgia bonus for me, like you guys too, but rewatching it I was like, man, like I don't know, we watch a lot of horror movies. I've seen a lot of it, and like when it's done well, it's like, fuck man, that's really good.
Yeah, it holds up pretty
Yes,
well.
that is a good point. Sorry to cut you off here, Bill, but like let's we kind of gushed about it a little bit. It sounds like, do you remember it being this good, or is it as good as you remembered? Maybe that's a better way to say it. Like how was the revisit for you, Bill?
It was better than I anticipated. There was more death in it than I remember. It got off to a quick start. It was quicker than I remember. It was a lot of fun. I didn't remember it being. It was better than I remember it being, which is crazy
Really?
because
'Cause
this
you-
is definitely a movie that like you watch as a teenager and you're like, yeah, cool, like it's like a fun movie to watch at that age. I thought it held up pretty well, and like you said, it's pretty funny, and it's like, yeah, like I didn't get that when I
Yeah.
first saw it, or like I
Mhm.
missed that, or that's more relevant, or you have more experiences and you can relate to the characters more and like what's just going on in general.
Yeah.
Which helps, and just an appreciation of film that I definitely didn't have back then that I have now, where it's like, oh, like the cinematography and like the effects are actually like pretty good, and like, I mean, I didn't care about the soundtrack of a movie when I first saw this movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's like certain scenes that I don't remember that really stood out to me. Like a scene I really liked just of how it looked and how it was shot and framed was when the 3 of them are pole vaulting rock,
It's really
rock
good.
to rock, and they have like that zoomed out shot of there, and they're all kind of going at their own pace, and you can tell like they're doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really cool scene that didn't really need to be in there, but it was great.
Little montage.
But, I'm glad it was.
No,
Yeah.
I agree with you, man, completely.
Like most of the audience that the film is geared towards doesn't need that, and the film doesn't need that in order for it to be good. But it's the little pieces of flair that get tacked on that are like make it.
And the
I
way
don't
it's
know,
introduced is, pitting them against each other. Because, like we said, they do kind of have, like, that older-younger brother dynamic where they are trying to one-up each other and be the hero. And they're like, how are you
Well,
good
they're
at
also,
pole
like,
vaulting?
There's two
and
guys and there's one woman, and
that's another thing. They're both
and they sleep
impressing her.
overnight on the boulder in the desert, and Val gives her his jean jacket to like cover up, and then you kind of see like
They wake
at
up
that point like
cuddling,
Bert looks at
kinda.
her and he's kind of like, all right. He kind of gives it. He like kind of concedes a little bit, not really, but he acknowledges that he's getting like edged out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like a friendly rivalry. So
he's
like
happy
this-
for him because he's like, he's getting over, because he's got that idea of the perfect woman, and we
It's
kind of
like
get
Bobby
the
Lee-
idea
Bobby
that it's
Jean
like
Lynn
an
or
ex.
whatever
Yeah.
her name is.
It's like an ex or a girl that he
Yeah.
knew because he has pictures of her in his truck.
Yeah, like underneath the visor.
and that's kind of like the blonde, long legs, but
Airhead.
Yeah.
all that type of
Yeah.
thing that he was saying earlier. And then he wasn't giving Rhonda the time of day, and now he's so we're seeing character development too with Val, which is
Good.
It's good. It's not all sleazeball. Like I don't know, Val, like you said, it's like they're not
They're not
exactly
as sleazy,
sleazy,
as you
but
think.
like you kind of root for him, which is also that's a super toxic thing in Hollywood. Like, oh, this sleazebag, he's like not that bad, right? He can do these shitty things, but like whatever. Val is a likable enough guy, and he's kind of a gentleman.
Well, they're like a believable for who they are. Like
Yeah.
their profession. You're like, oh yeah. I mean, like, and as by like your perception of what that person is.
yeah,
Sure.
they like
Uh,
talk about like sex and like
They
talk
smoke. They
about her
smoke
before
cigarettes
they
first
even,
thing in the morning.
before they even meet her in like a sexual way, but they're never
Yeah,
like creepy to her. Like they
No, they,
never
like, smack
make
her
like
ass or,
weird
like-
advances
or
or any
refer to her as
weird
like baby
comments.
doll or any of that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
It's-
there's none of that weird shit that you.
But like when they're
get up
driving
a
in the
lot
truck,
in
then it's
horror.
like
They're like,
boys
oh, hey,
talk.
she's
Like there's
cute,
some
right?
boys talk
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
movie for sure.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, they're gentlemanly.
And
I-
she's written well too, which helps. I mean, she's smart. Like she's a
She's
badass.
independent. She saves everybody's skin more than once.
Yeah.
A few times. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's like a what is it, Bechdel test. I don't think that's going on in this. Like, there's not two women talking, but she's good, man. I like their dynamic a lot. I like the first scene with Val and Earl where they're like arguing about who's making breakfast. Like, it's just like a really good
Yeah.
like intro
no,
into
I
like
made that.
their
Like,
relationship
yeah.
immediately. It's like, well, I hope when I get to your age, I can forget what I ate yesterday too. You know, like fuck you, old man. But I guess I'll do it. But there's stuff like that. There's also the little girl on the pogo stick, which is like a really once you like see the movie and then you hear. Because like, where is she? And then you hear the pogo stick outside, and you're like, oh no!
She's got her headphones in.
She's
and
got
all
her
that, yeah.
headphones in. What's your count at? 648. And also one of the best kills is the
Walter?
the shopkeeper Walter Chang. Like
That's
he
another-
gets like swallowed whole
That's
like in front of
another
everybody.
Good kill. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like bitten multiple times by the what do they call
Graboids.
Graboids.
Yeah.
He's like bitten multiple times,
bust through
and,
the wall
like,
or whatever.
thrown around
Yeah.
and like thrashed around,
Thrashed
like you
around.
said, in front of like the entire town or what's remaining,
children,
which is like
but-
8
yeah.
people.
There's also the whole cry wolf thing with Melvin, where he's like playing around and has like the
Well,
tongue around
fucker.
him, and then
Who is
finally,
his parents?
I don't know if he's like
what is he doing out
I
there?
don't know if like his parents are gone or like who's his like parent or
How old do you
guardian.
think he's supposed to be?
'Cause I think he's like hanging around
16? Do you think
the
like high
16,
school
15, 16?
age?
yeah, maybe junior high.
Yeah.
but he's like hanging around the general store, so I don't know if like Walter is his like guardian or if he's like hanging out there because
Yeah, I don't think it's ever like
what.
explicitly.
But,
But
said.
like I don't know, we
Like 2
always
days,
know
right?
those types of
Yeah.
kids. Like that
Wacky
kid
kids.
lives with his grandma.
Yeah,
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Who
he's a-
doesn't come out of the trailer. Like we
Yeah.
all know
Yeah.
those types of people, and I think that's kind of who he's supposed to be. But they don't really explore it too much, and they don't need to.
nope.
Yeah.
You know,
I was
It's
just
good.
curious if it was something that like I missed, and like
I don't
no,
think so.
that This is his dad is whoever.
And
But it's funny how they talk to him because they definitely are like like threaten to
I'm gonna
like
kick
kick
your
his
ass.
ass.
He
I'm
always
like,
says
oh
that.
shit, like
Yeah, that's another like small town thing. It's like there are no children. You know, you're
Grown-
older, you're
grown
14
if you're
and
out
you-
there, yeah.
So
Especially
I-
when you're fucking around with people. But
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like everybody knows he's a little shit. He's a prankster or whatever. Because like when Earl, he's like, touch that truck and you're dead, and he's like, yeah, or whatever. But
shaking in my boots.
so yeah, I like one of my favorite things. Also, the big iconic scenes when I was a kid. We'll kind of jump around, but we're not too. This isn't too far ahead. Is when they are coming back into town with Rhonda, and they end up deciding that they need to get on like the roofs, and they get separated, like the water tower, and then they're on the roof of the convenience store. And then you got Bert and Heather figuring out how they're going to
Reba.
get to their armament.
Yeah, because
And-
sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say because this happens because when the one dies, we get a quick explanation that there's 3 more, and she knows that because of them showing up on her seismographs at different locations at the same time.
Yeah, this
Right.
wasn't the only one. Yeah. So
So that's when they're like, we can't leave. Like, we have to go back. There's 3 more of these things.
we got to tell the.
No one's expecting the
yeah.
huge size. Right now, they're like,
They're thinking these
still
little
scary,
worms. Yeah.
but like
They have no idea that there's monsters of this size and there's multiple.
Yeah.
So they go back to town to like, give this news to save some lives.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead, Rob. You wanna? Or I don't know. I'm just trying to hand it off. I feel
Oh.
like I've been.
No,
Like.
go
I
ahead.
thought you were going for
Yeah, I thought
when
that
they
you-
go
thought you
back
were
and they go on the
talking.
roofs. I interrupted you.
Yeah. Well, I just been rambling a little bit. I don't want to do too much more. But yeah, they get back and they get up on these roofs.
Yeah.
To avoid making noise or vibrations to alert the graboids.
Right.
And they figure out quickly. I mean, fuck, dude. Food, heat, exhaustion, like dehydration. Like, what are we gonna do? This is not a viable plan long term. We got to kill them. We got to get out of here. How are we gonna do this? And I love the water tower bit where they're like, "Oh well, if we can distract them or like create a noise or disruption to long enough till somebody can get to the truck,
To get
Yeah.
get us, then
we can
outta
get
here.
to the gun or like whatever. Like that's a step in the right direction." So they like create a hole in the water tower and it starts to spill out onto the ground. And like I don't know, when I'm like 13, I think this is also like a fun movie when you're that age. Like we've talked about this, but it's got like some of the things that you're like studying or like you think you're smart, like, and I was like, oh, seismology and like like tectonic plates and shit like this. It's like in your 8th grade curriculum, and it's like you're seeing
Like,
it in
oh,
like
yeah.
practice here. You're like, oh, that's so cool. It's like I don't know. I always thought that was like a neat plot point, and now I see how like just simple it is. Which there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it. I mean, that's why it's good for like the whole family. Is like it's simple. And I understood it when I was young, and like you said, it's quick. It doesn't make you wait. But even now, revisiting it, I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude! Like, distract that graboid and go get that truck." You know what I mean? It's just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't think about that before, but I guess really everything in this has a like kind of like a 7th, 8th grade level like
Yeah.
physical science that like honestly like
And
that's-
biology,
Yeah,
and
and biology, like that's just a really good base level for like again like who this is appealing to, which is boys that are like preteen, maybe early teenagers kind of thing,
Mhm.
and then the families of said boys or sleepovers or whatever.
Right.
And girls too. But I feel like creature features, at least in the 90s and stuff, or horror in general, has been geared to
It's
men
got a
or
couple male
male-dominated.
protagonists, but it's got a couple women
It
protagonists
does.
too. And, like,
Rhonda's good, man.
Rhonda's good, but
Reba
so is
is
Heather.
badass.
Heather's
Dude,
also
Reba, yeah,
she's
Heather.
smart, she's independent, she's self-sufficient, and she'll kick
Yeah.
your fucking ass.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should honestly get out of her way and let her tell you where to go next.
It's almost like she's not even playing a character.
She's playing Reba.
They're just like, Reba, you want to shoot shit for
And-
a couple
and
days?
Bert
She's like,
respects
yeah.
her.
Yeah, Bert loves her.
And
Yeah,
he's
they're
like, yeah, that's my
partners.
yes,
Not my wife.
No,
Like,
and that's a
pretty
that's a pretty
progressive.
cool thing, honestly. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Also, Bert, what is Michael Gross?
Yeah,
He's great in this as well. He's so good.
Yeah.
yeah, he's very
Really.
believable.
He is. He's not
Yes.
hamming it up. He's not chewing scenery. He's great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they eventually get away from the buildings because they're like they're like kind of shanty little slat boarded buildings and like
They're
everything's made of
like
wood.
collapsing because the
The
graboids
graboids
are.
are 30 feet long, massive monsters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And they end up getting was it the bulldozer?
The cat.
cat.
And the big like steel trailer bed to drag everybody behind.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea.
It is.
That's a Long way away, though, isn't it?
9 miles. Yep. How
Yeah.
many guns you need? We're only going 9 miles. And we'll be fighting every foot of the way. What kind of fuse is that? Cannon. What's it for? For my cannon.
Yeah.
God, I love him. I don't. I wouldn't really, but I love
No,
him.
right? Yeah, he's great. It's you see, this is America. He's a great character, and we love him as a character.
But when you start
But
thinking
when you know that he
Beat that
exists in
guy,
real
people.
life,
Beat that guy.
it's scary.
yeah, and there's a lot of him in the desert
Yeah.
in this country.
Not
Yeah.
just the desert, but yeah, truth. But yeah, I think they end up getting dynamite from. They go back to Bert and Heather's bunker.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they
they're
get
under
full-on
the
armory.
bunker.
They get them on a radio, and they're like, "These things are fucking huge. They're not. You need to leave your bunker and
Like,
come down and get up high." And they're kind of like,
It's underground. It's right.
"Yeah,
Good bunker that they're very proud of, and they're not going to compromise their
Exactly. They're
position.
like, yeah, what the fuck's
This
it gonna
is
do?
what we're here for.
We're not
This is
going to
why we
take
built-
advices from these guys.
Exactly. And then boom, one of them crashes through the bunker wall.
Like all the guns come crashing off
And
the wall and like
Great,
shit.
good
yeah.
thing this is a wall of guns. I mean, this looks like the beginning of like a Call of Duty
Resident
shooting
Evil,
range where you
something
get
like
to
that.
go to you just go to a wall with
like
100 guns and pick
It's
the
not
one.
even like a lot. It's like 100 guns.
It's like pick the one that you want. And this scene is good, and it's funny because there's so many moments in horror where guns are used against bad guys, and it's just like ping ping, like bounces off or goes right in, absorbed. You shoot a vampire, it does
You shoot Michael Myers, it does nothing.
Exactly, and you kind of think it's gonna be this. You're like, oh shit, like these people are gonna die. And they just unload on this fucking thing with guns, and there's so many guns. They just shoot a gun till it's out of ammo, throw it on the ground, turn around and grab another one.
As stupid as this sounds,
Shoots
this
off
is
clip.
exactly what this room was designed for.
That's exactly what it's for.
And unlike all the other times, the guns win.
Work.
They kill the second one.
Yeah.
Because
Just by
they're
shooting
shooting with like 50. This is not just like it's like fucking
all,
30.
like,
They're
armored
50 caliber
handguns.
fucking weapons.
And they're like armor-piercing rounds.
yes,
Yeah, like,
they've told you about it at length. Like,
All
these
of
are
it.
also, there's a lot of
The
just
rounds.
like gun talk. There's a lot of talk about individual firearm models, calibers, like armor-piercing rounds, weight. Like, I'm not a gun nut. I
Val and
definitely
Earl fight over which, or not fight, but they do rock, paper,
Paper, scissors for who gets which one.
Yeah.
I'm
who
taking the
gets
rifle.
The rifle, yeah.
But I mean, there's just a lot more of that kind of stuff, and I grew up like at least around and like going to gun ranges and that kind of thing. But,
Right.
It's they are the people that they're supposed to be. The characters are them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
Reba's
that's
her.
how the second one dies.
And then
So
they
that's
get
2 down, 2 to go.
then they leave and they meet back up.
They get picked up
Oh, they get picked
by
up by the group.
Yeah, they're driving the cat and that huge metal.
Little trailer.
They're
trailer.
dragging it because the cat doesn't have tires. It's not gonna
Can't all fit on
be.
that.
Yeah, it's not gonna be pulled down by the graboids. It's too heavy. It's too big. It's not gonna get a
30
flat.
tons. They
It's-
can't lift that 30 tons.
Yeah, it's a pretty good plan. You know, the cargo van behind it. That's the iffy question. But they only got 9 miles.
Yeah, they're headed up into the
Canyon,
mountains
the
because
Jeep
it's
trail.
rocks,
Yeah.
and the worms won't be able to go through there because it's rocks. And then on the other side is Bixby, and they're going for help. But these worms are smart.
They learn quick.
They got smart.
Hell, for all you know, they got wings, which is a great line early on because
for
in the
the
later
third
sequel,
one,
Yeah,
they
Kevin
do,
said
yeah.
Wait, they have wings.
Yeah, and the second one they get legs, and the third one they get wings. They fly now. They fly now.
I think I've seen the second one. Couldn't tell you anything about it. Definitely haven't seen beyond that, but I might have to now that knowing that they just fly.
They
That
just
sounds
evolve.
fucking
It's like
insane.
Pokemon.
So is there a fourth? Do they
There
have,
is a
Fifth and
fourth.
sixth,
Do they have
I
eyes?
think. I don't know. 'Cause I think in the
do they have
second,
eyes when they have wings?
no, in the second one they have like heat vision that they can see, and there's like an awesome bit where they
That
like.
sounds familiar. Do they
Yeah.
cover themselves in
Well,
shit?
well, they cover themselves with
Not
stuff and
poop.
shaving cream, and they
Yes.
also soak
To lower
long
their body
johns in hot
temperature.
water
Yeah,
and
yeah,
bring
yeah,
them out
yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
line as
Yeah.
To replicate
So
like bodies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
wild.
remember that. I remember that.
But that's not the movie we watched.
Not the movie we watched.
They start like traveling up the Jeep trail, and the plan starts to fall apart.
Because the worms dug a trap?
Yeah, they basically start digging out and sinking the cat.
Yeah, and they sink the cat.
Yeah, they can't lift it, but they can
They-
eat the worm or the
But they
earth out
can't
underneath
stop
it.
And yeah, the way that thing just nose dives down hard, like there's no
Hard.
There's no getting it out of there. So, Bert
Bert.
Yeah, Bert.
has a couple of his bombs that he made. I believe he throws one, and they realize that the vibrations that they cause are so strong that they're too sensitive to it that it makes them run away. So they throw one, they run in the other direction, and they all hop out and run to a big
Rocks.
area of rocks.
But then they're stuck again.
But then they're stuck again. And it's like kind of like the
But
same
they learned something.
thing. They have weapons and stuff, but they don't have food, water.
Trying to shoot
But they did
armor-piercing
learn.
rounds to
They
the
did
ground.
learn something.
They don't like that. They don't like that seismic activity. They
don't.
go away from it.
When it's too much.
And so what? Bert's got a couple more of these like pipe bomb things that he's made. They're like homemade fucking explosives that he's made.
It's like homemade dynamite.
Yeah.
He's,
Yeah.
He's
They're
gotten
like
like
sticks
TNT
of dynamite.
and like made like pipe bomb dynamite.
Yeah.
I think
fucking
someone asked
insane.
something. It's like just some household chemicals with the right proportions or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Some fucking alchemist or anarchist cookbook bullshit.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. But yeah, they start doing that, and then they decide that they can throw them like fishing bait, and then
Yeah.
dragging them along with enough fuse, and they end up killing another one. One of them swallows it.
Yeah,
And it
that's
goes
how they
down,
get
they
the
duck.
third.
Yeah,
They
they're like
fish it.
fishing because
Yeah.
they're chasing the drag, thinking it's some injured whatever, that
Something.
theory or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once they swallow the dynamite, perfect time that explodes inside of that. And
we-
so now I think they're down to one
There's
pipe
one
bomb
left.
and one graboid left.
One
right?
graboid.
There's a couple.
He's smart.
he's
Even
smart.
smarter.
There's a couple scenes where they get like stuck and they have to like stop moving and then distract, the graboid like on the rocks and stuff so they can get away.
It's that classic
Yeah.
like horror trope where it's like
Don't
They
move.
they
can't
can't
see
be
you.
seen. Yeah, it's
like-
blind, but if you just don't make noise or whatever.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
all
you've
that.
seen it. Quiet Place. You've seen it.
But this
Yeah.
is 1990.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
it's,
this might have been
it's
an
early.
earlier one.
Yeah.
Before most of the movies we just mentioned.
But they throw that last one and it swallows it and
And
then
you-
spits it right back out.
And it doesn't even feel right. You're like,
It doesn't.
No, there's like, it's not that easy. It's the same thing at the end of like any horror movie with a big villain.
He gets back up.
Where they're on the ground. You're like, and the protagonist turns their back, and you're just
It's not over yet.
waiting. And you get the same feeling here, and it spits the bomb back at them.
It's like parabolically shot up into the sky like a mortar round and falls directly on them
It's-
in the bag of dynamite.
It's great, honestly, because it's funny
It's good. It's fun.
and it's terrifying.
They scramble.
If like to think about.
Yeah. There's a
A fucking giant
larger
earthworm
bird.
It's
that
like
spits dynamite into the sky.
It's like
wild.
another part of this movie that feels like a video game because in like
Yes.
Call of Duty, if someone throws a bomb at you, you can pick it up and
Throw
throw
it
it back,
back.
and it's like that same. It's like, oh fuck. But yeah, of course it lands on the bag with
Yep.
all the other bombs in
on
it. So the explosion's even bigger, and they're completely out now.
Then they scramble to not get hurt,
To not
and
explode.
then they're away from the rocks. And is that when they start getting chased?
By the last
The
one?
last one.
Yeah,
Yes,
towards the edge
so-
of the cliff.
Well, Kevin Bacon's kind of like getting its attention, right, and like kind of leading it away.
He's got one last pipe bomb, right?
And he doesn't really tell anyone his plan.
Plan.
He just runs.
No, because earlier in the movie with the culvert, they have had success running to the edge of something. And they don't know what to do. That's all we've seen. But this is a cliff, and they don't have anywhere to go. Earlier, they jumped and were able to just fall 10 or 15 feet. Not even. This is like they're gonna die, and there's not a concrete reinforcement on the other side of
No.
this wall. They don't know what to do. They're just trying to outrun something that they can see under the ground. And like to your point on the Jaws thing, it is great because you only see the monster
like
so many
the-
times early on, but then it's all the times not seeing the monster and just running away from this movement in the ground. But it looks good.
It's like
Yeah,
the
it's
fin,
like the
man.
fin or even just ripple of
Yeah, man.
water.
It looks
but
so
it's the
good.
ripple of the ground.
And this thing has also been stalking and chasing them for days. It's probably really hungry.
His other
It's
friends have
frustrated.
died.
All the
He
rest
knows.
were dead, so it's like pretty like primal.
Yeah, they realize it doesn't really need anything. It will just wait them
Yeah.
out. They'll just hide on a rock and it will just be there all day, just waiting.
And he runs and runs and stops right at like the cliff, basically, right?
Yep, right at the edge of the cliff,
And
and then
it
he
throws the
last
Bomb
bomb behind
behind
it,
him.
so it scares
Is
it
it-
to go forward more at an accelerated pace, and it flies off the cliff
And into the canyon.
Into the
and
canyon.
Falls
to its
to
death
death.
and explodes. Yeah,
It's
Awesome.
fucking great.
yeah.
And Val's like, yeah, damn, I told you. No. It's fun.
And yeah,
And then, of course, we have to complete the love story between the nerdy scientist and the cowboy, and it's awkward and cute, and then they kiss, and then it's over.
And we
Well-
roll credits with a Reba song.
But then you do see some loose dirt moving.
Oh, Tremors 2.
Do you think there's a
3.
sequel that we've
There-
already talked about?
yes.
Confirmed that we've watched?
We already talked about and confirmed. Remember scenes from? Yeah. What a good flick. I think. I don't know. What do you guys
It's-
think?
I'll tell you what, man.
It was a lot of fun. Definitely a good palate cleanser after Cannibal Holocaust, which is arguably
A terrible
not
film.
as fun.
Arguably.
And not enjoyable one. Arguably. But yeah, some good quotes. Just a great design, a great vibe,
Fun
good
faces.
cast, fun
yeah.
faces. Yeah, all that, man.
And
Horror
PG-13.
comedy. It's fun. Show it to your kids. Let us raise your kids.
Yeah, send your kids to 13th Elm Studios and don't expect them to come home.
Well,
So there were only 2 interior sets in the entire movie: Walter's store and Bert and Heather's basement. Every other shot was an exterior shot,
That's cool.
which makes sense.
And
It's
it
like
is,
a
yeah.
small
Yeah.
town, you know,
And
a lot of
it's like
outdoors
monsters
and
outside.
in the sun.
we don't see anyone's house on the
Uh,
inside.
No, just Walter's store. Yeah, because I think they like run past the single mom's house like a couple
Mhm.
times, but it's all
Yeah,
exterior.
and
And
like,
what's
in the
that?
front
Nestor?
yard.
Yeah, yeah.
Nestor, who lives
Nestor.
in like the RV, he was
Mhm.
killed. But I mean, we don't see the inside of his RV. We don't know where Val lives or whatever.
Also, Reba's first film as an actress.
Killed it.
She was great.
And I totally forgot about this, but looking at some other stuff, as I'm reminded of this at the beginning when they're like, working on the fence and like talking about how they're going to get out of town. Kevin Bacon like is trying to nail that fence post with a wire and misses it like 8 times before he finally like gets it in. I don't know. They kept that shot and it's just really funny to me. Like it tickles me. It's like boom, 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 bink.
Was it genuine?
Yeah, it's
Like-
yeah.
I don't
That's good.
remember that.
I don't know. It just stuck out to me.
It was at the beginning?
It's the very beginning. Like I think there's still like opening credits or something.
Oh.
But on almost all the actors were cast through open auditions.
That's awesome.
Val was written
Good
for Bill
casting.
Paxton.
Dude, this movie
I
with
would
Bill
not-
Paxton.
I
or
would
Bruce
not have-
Campbell.
Okay.
I could see that. That wouldn't. It would still be a good movie.
I feel like
think.
Bill Paxton almost makes more sense as much as I
But-
love
Yeah.
the Bruce.
Because Bruce would have still been really young and sexy.
He doesn't look like a cowboy.
He would have been
You put
10
a
years.
hat on
He would
him
have
and
been
he's
8
got
years.
swagger.
He would have been 8
Yeah,
years
but he
older than
doesn't look
Evil
like
Dead,
a
though.
cowboy.
Oh yeah, so I guess he would have been like what 27 or something.
Yeah, he would have been like 30 almost.
Close to
but,
30, yeah.
But I don't know. Bill Paxton wouldn't have been much younger, and Kevin Bacon wasn't that much younger either. I don't want to say that I would have preferred that because Kevin Bacon is fucking great, and this movie was awesome the way it is, and I'm going to give it a high score. Spoiler alert, when we get there, I think we all might give it a decent one.
Yeah.
But damn, I would have loved to have seen this movie with Bill Paxton. Even don't get me
Right.
wrong, I love the chin, man. I'm a big fan of the chin, but like Bill Paxton, especially
made
knowing it
more
was written
sense.
for him,
Yeah.
dude. I fucking love Coconut Pete.
Dude, I love Coconut Pete.
Oh,
Okay, a few more. Just little trivias. The sounds made by the Graboids were so popular, they've been reused in multiple films, including Predator 2, Starship Troopers, the computer-animated Ants with a Z, Eight-Legged
Oh.
Freaks, and Kong Skull Island.
hell yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool.
I love when like a Wilhelm scream or something something
Yeah.
gets added to like the soundboard, like
lexicon.
for like Hollywood, like the knowing where it comes from. That's so cool. This movie invented a lot of shit. It sounds like with the special effects
special
and then
effects.
that's so cool.
Also, just like an original creature design, like kind of insectoid, ancient, like prehistoric creature. I don't know. I love that kind of shit. This is the shortest Tremors film in the franchise.
Okay.
95 minutes.
Well, they all.
Yeah, they're
What's
all.
that
They're
long?
probably like 100 minutes, or it's not that
Yeah.
much, but yeah, man. I don't know. I think unless you guys have anything else to add, before we do the scores.
No, I don't think so. I'm ready to rate it.
Okay.
I don't have anything else to say.
Go ahead, Bill.
You want me to go first?
Go last. You're gonna announce next week's movie.
Oh yeah. My
You,
go.
Okay, I'll
you
go
go,
last.
Bill. Or Rob, it was your movie.
That's a big one.
Sorry, I'll put my pants
Well, I mean, I'm gonna at least 40 for the soundtrack, and I think adding it up. I don't know, man. This gets a lot of points for nostalgia, and it's already got a really good film, I think, for what it is. I'm gonna give this 90.
Yeah.
Damn.
Dang, that's one of the higher ones you've ever given out.
This one
Tremors.
In the history of the pod, I feel like.
Yeah.
I've given a couple of 90s.
A couple, not a handful. Less than us, I think.
This has to be the highest score of the season, right?
No, I don't think so.
You've given a 90-something?
In the
to
Blitz,
some?
maybe.
I think I
I
gave
think he
Dracula like pretty high up
I think he
there.
Bram
gave
Stoker's,
like
a
93.
90-something?
I think he gave like a 93 or 94
it's
to
really high.
Nightmare
Nightmare
3.
Nightmare 3 was really high too. That's like a really
Hell
good one.
yeah.
This is a
Still a
definitely
high score.
my kind of flick. I picked it, but it's got all the stuff I want in it.
I don't like that it didn't let you down. Like you knew that, but I don't know how long has it been since you've seen this movie?
Dude, I don't even know. Years.
Yeah.
5-6 years at least.
Hell
and,
yeah.
and I was probably like 2 beers deep, and it was 1 a.m.
In the background and
Yeah.
halfway through when you started or
Halfway
whatever.
through. Yeah,
Right.
I'm like fading in and out. But it's a great flick, man. And I actually watched Gremlins as well the other day, and I was like, oh man, I wish I could. I should have picked that. And I was thinking about, I was like, oh, Tremors, duh.
Yeah.
So yeah, good flick. Glad I picked it. Glad you guys liked it.
Oh yeah.
Hope Bill has a good. Wait, no, you.
I'll
Okay.
go. Yeah, I'll rate it real quick.
I keep going left. Sorry.
Yeah, man, we all love it. We all told you about why we love it. We all knew we loved it before we pushed play, and I think we all loved it more than we did in our memory. So, shit, this one is another one that gets a higher score for nostalgia points for me, and I might like this movie more than some might say it deserves. But this is fun. It's digestible. It's simple. It delivers. You can watch it with your family or friends. It holds up. It makes me laugh. I wasn't like wildly disappointed revisiting it and seeing like an insane amount of misogyny or racism or things that a lot of times when I watch movies from like the 80s or fuck man, even like the Looney Tunes or like, Bugs Bunny, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This, it didn't disappoint me. I'll give it a 90.
Damn. I feel like I have to give it a 90, but that wasn't what I rated it, so I'm not gonna. But I gave it an 85. I can't really add to what you guys already said. I mean, ditto. It's a lot of fun. I liked it more than I thought I would, for reasons I mentioned earlier. Just seeing shit tons of movies in between and being able to appreciate different aspects of it that I didn't when I was younger, and it does have that nostalgia factor as well. So, yeah, 85. This was a good pick. This was fun.
Hell yeah, man.
It looks like we're touching down right now. Actually, this ground is coming up.
Oh, we're
real
finally
quick.
landing.
Oh, we brace for impact.
Womp.
Was that you?
That was weird.
What was that?
I think my belly flipped.
Your belly. That was the sound of your belly flipping.
Yeah, well, I have my
Belly
mouth
flop.
open. We're back to normal now. We're good.
Oh, thank goodness.
I think it was just like an interplanetary, cellular, intergalactic thing that I just figured out, but I fixed
That
it.
sounds right.
See coastline from here.
There's
Where
no
are we?
fucking ocean
Uh,
on
Did we
Mars?
go back
Did we just
to
discover
Mars?
water on Mars?
No.
Holy shit, there's water on Mars.
There's water on
definitely
Mars.
Have
Is
bars.
there life on
We're
Mars?
No, we're.
Yeah,
I
there's
told
a
you
snake.
we're touching down on
There's a
Earth.
snake on
Holy
Mars.
shit! I got bars.
Okay, let's hear 'em.
Oh, let's hear it.
It's. I don't know. All the numbers on my clock are backwards. I don't really understand what's going on.
What's a good thing?
Oh,
That's the same.
You're holding your phone upside down.
We're in Australia.
Oh, wait! Somebody flush a toilet. Wait, there's not a toilet.
No.
We gotta find a toilet.
Never found a toilet.
Before we find a toilet,
Guys, we gotta go find a toilet.
What are we watching?
Do you want to know
next
what we're
week?
watching next week?
I do.
So,
Is it toilet related?
yes, we are watching my favorite toilet-related horror movie. So
Toilet.
I think everybody was surprised when Rob didn't pick a vampire pick. So I was like, hey, I'll surprise and I'll pick a vampire movie.
Yeah.
hell yeah,
So I am doing 2008's Let the Right One In.
hell yeah.
Okay.
And so we're in Australia.
Going to Finland.
I got us flights to Stockholm. We're going to Sweden.
Wow.
We're going to Sweden, baby, next week.
Love that. I think I might
Never
develop
been.
a syndrome.
I hope that's not. Is that a theme?
Swedish,
Is that the
Swedish
theme?
syndrome?
It's
Is that Sweden syndrome?
Yes, Sweden syndrome.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think we've all seen this movie. I think we all like it. I hope you guys haven't seen it super recently.
No,
It's been at least a few years.
I might have only seen it once.
Nice.
Wow.
It's really good.
And I wanted to pick something.
Let the right one in, not let me in. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah, the original. Yeah.
Wanted to pick something. Can't go Christmas yet. We have plans for that, and it's too early. But this one has like a good wintry feel. It's snow covered, like gothic Swedish winter. It makes sense for winter. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it must take place
gonna
on
be
like a
cold.
playground at night, right?
Maybe at least some of it. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
no,
it in a
yes.
really long time either.
Yes,
but
there's-
yeah,
there-
there's definitely a.
Well,
scene
it's also
iconic.
Scandinavia. It's not a lot of it's not even at night per se. It's in the
Yeah,
dark.
It's in the dark. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Midnight Sun and
Midnight Sun.
opposites. Wow, what a good time spending with you, Elmers, and with you, Bill, and with you, Michael.
And with you, Rob.
And with you, Rob, and with you, Michael.
And with you, Bill.
And with you, Elmers. So
And with you, Elmers.
with
Elmers.
that, I think we'll say good night and thank you.
Thank you.
Pull up with us, watch 2 films. Come on, watch 2 films. If you scared, don't come over here. 13 M. 13 M. 13 M.